He ruled the underworld with ice in his veins, but one video call, one baby, and one woman he threw away cracked the most dangerous man in Seoul wide open. The penthouse smelled like gunpowder and regret. Jun-ho stood at the floor-to-ceiling window, 40 floors above Seoul's glittering skyline, a glass of whiskey untouched in his hand. Below him, the city pulsed like something alive. Up here, nothing moved. Nothing dared. His jaw was carved from silence. Dark eyes scanning the Han River like he was searching for something already gone. Boss. His Lieutenant Ryan stepped through the steel door. The Busan deal is confirmed. Jun-ho didn't turn. Good. And your lawyer called again. About the divorce finalization? I said good, Ryan. The door clicked shut. On his desk, buried under contracts written in blood money, it was a single photograph. A woman, laughing. Brown skin luminous under cherry blossom trees, her head thrown back like the world hadn't yet shown her its teeth. He'd taken that photo himself, 14 months ago. Their last good day before everything collapsed. Ella. 6,000 miles away, in a quiet apartment in Atlanta, Georgia, Ella was singing off-key to a baby who didn't mind at all. She swayed near the window, her natural hair wrapped in a silk scarf. The baby nestled against her chest like he'd chosen her specifically. Because he had. She called him Seo, 4 months old, already too serious for his age. He had his father's eyes, dark, intense, slightly unsettling. She never told Jun-ho that. She discovered the pregnancy 2 months after leaving Seoul, after leaving him. Some doors once closed needed to stay closed. Her phone sat on the counter, dark and silent. Exactly how she needed it. Atlanta rain tapped gently on the glass. Do you think Ella was right to keep the baby's secret? Comment below. Jun-ho didn't plan to call her. That was the thing about 3 a.m. It dissolved discipline like acid on steel. He'd spent 14 months building walls. 14 months bearing her name under boardroom power and bloodshed. 14 months pretending the silence didn't follow him room to room like a ghost wearing her perfume. He picked up the phone before his pride could stop him. Video call. It rang 4 times. He almost cut it. Then, she answered. Ella appeared on screen looking softer than he remembered. Her silk scarf slightly askew, eyes heavy with interrupted sleep, lips parted in pure shock. Jun-ho. Her voice, God, her voice. He stopped. His jaw tightened. The words he'd rehearsed for 14 months evaporated completely. I needed to see you were okay. Her expression shifted. Something between anger and heartbreak. It's 3 a.m, Jun-ho. I know. Silence stretched between them, thick and loaded. And then, movement. Something stirred in her arms, small, wrapped in a yellow blanket. A tiny fist uncurled against her collarbone. Jun-ho's entire body went still. His whiskey glass slipped from his fingers, shattering on the marble floor. He didn't hear it. Ella. His voice dropped to something unrecognizable, raw, stripped of every layer of power he'd spent decades constructing. What? Who is... She pulled the baby closer instinctively, protective, her eyes filling with something complicated, fear, love, defiance, sorrow, all tangled together. The baby yawned, turned his face toward the screen. Jun-ho's own eyes stared back at him from that tiny face. He collapsed to his knees on the cold marble floor of his empire. Has someone ever shown you something that completely shattered the person you pretended to be? Comment below and subscribe so you don't miss what Jun-ho does next. Ella's thumb hovered over the red button. End call, end call, end call. She should have never answered. She knew better. 14 months of rebuilding herself brick by brick. Therapy, late nights, baby formula at 2 a.m. Learning to breathe without him. And one call had cracked everything open. Ella. His voice came through the screen again. Broken. She'd never heard Jun-ho broken. Not once in 3 years. Please don't hang up. I have nothing to say to you. But she didn't hang up. On screen, she could see him still on his knees. The most feared man in Seoul's underworld, kneeling on marble, eyes wet, chest heaving. A traitorous part of her heart ached. She crushed it. That's my... He couldn't finish. Don't. Her voice came out sharper than intended. SEO stirred at the tension in her chest. She swayed automatically, soothing him. Don't say it, Jun-ho. He has my eyes, Ella. He has my son's eyes. The silence that followed was devastating. Jun-ho pressed his fist against his mouth. She watched him struggle, watched the Mafia boss dissolve into something frighteningly human. Why didn't you tell me? He whispered. Because you chose your empire over our marriage. Her voice didn't shake. She'd practiced this truth too many times alone. I wasn't going to let you choose it over him too. That wasn't your decision. You made it mine. Seo whimpered softly. She turned her face away from the camera, pressing her lips to his forehead, gathering herself. When she looked back, Jun-ho was still there. Still watching, still broken. She should hang up. She didn't. I'm coming to Atlanta. Ella laughed, not warmly. Absolutely not. He's my son. You don't even know his name. That landed like a blade. Jun-ho absorbed it without flinching. The discipline of a man trained to take hits without showing blood. Then tell me, he said quietly. Please. She studied him through the screen. This man who had once made entire crime syndicates tremble was looking at her like a boy who'd dropped something precious and couldn't reach it. Seo, she said finally. His name is Seo. Something moved across Jun-ho's face. Undisguised, unguarded. She'd never seen him look like that, like a single word had rearranged something permanently inside him. SEO. He repeated it like a prayer. How old? 4 months. She watched him do the math. Watched the exact moment it confirmed what he already suspected. That Seo was conceived in their last month together. That last desperate, beautiful, terrible month, before she'd packed one suitcase and walked out of his penthouse forever. I have rights, he started. Don't. Her eyes hardened. Don't come at me with legal threats at 3 a.m, Jun-ho. I will hang up and block every number you own. He stopped, inhaled. I'm not threatening you. His voice dropped. I'm terrified, Ella. I've never been terrified of anything in my life. And I'm terrified right now. The raw honesty of it disarmed her completely. Seo made a small sound, half yawn, half protest. She repositioned him and he settled, his tiny hand gripping her finger. He does that when he's not sure about something, she said quietly, almost to herself. Jun-ho watched, transfixed. Can we just talk? Tonight, just talk. She closed her eyes. 1 hour, she said. That's all. They talked past sunrise, not about lawyers, not about custody, about the things that had always lived beneath the surface of their marriage, waiting for enough silence to finally rise. You were never home, Ella said. Seo was asleep now, cradled in the crook of her arm. Her voice was quieter, careful, like she was handling something old and fragile. 3 years, Jun-ho. I ate alone more nights than I can count. I was protecting you by staying away. You were protecting yourself. She met his eyes through the screen. There's a difference. He didn't argue, that was new. My father ran the organization before me, Jun-ho said slowly. He never talked about this, not to anyone. He brought my mother into this life and it killed her. I thought if I kept distance, if I kept you separate from what I am, you thought distance was love. Yes? Jun-ho. She exhaled. Distance isn't protection. It's abandonment dressed up in good intentions. The words hit him somewhere deep and undefended. I found your letters, he said suddenly. After you left, in the drawer beside the bed, the ones you never sent. Ella went very still. You read them? Everyone. His jaw worked. 14 times, Ella. I read them 14 times. You said you felt invisible? You said you'd stopped existing in my world? His voice fractured. I didn't know. I genuinely didn't know it had gotten that bad. Her eyes glistened. She blinked it back fiercely. That's the saddest part, she whispered. I was disappearing right in front of you, and you were too busy ruling the world to notice. Seo stirred. Junho watched the gentle way she responded. Automatic, tender, effortless. He had missed everything. Somewhere around 5 a.m. Atlanta time, something shifted. The defenses thinned, not collapsed, just thinned, the way fog does when light finally finds it. Does he smile yet? Junho asked. His voice had changed completely, softer, almost shy. Ella blinked at the question. Just started last week. It's devastating. I cry every time. Show me. He's asleep, Junho. Right? A pause. Sorry. She almost smiled. Almost. He hates baths, she offered. Screams like I'm committing a crime. Junho laughed. A real laugh. Short, surprised, genuine. She'd almost forgotten what it sounded like. What else? He asked, leaning forward like a man starved. He loves music. Korean music specifically. She raised an eyebrow. Don't ask me how. I play American R&B and he just stares at me blankly. I put on anything with a Korean melody and he calms down immediately. Junho's expression did something complicated and beautiful. My mother used to sing to me, he said quietly. Old Korean lullabies. I didn't think I remembered them until just now. The sentence sat between them like something sacred. Sing one, Ella said. She didn't know why she said it. Ella? He might like it, for research purposes. He looked at her for a long moment. Then, barely above a whisper, Junho sang 4 lines of something ancient and gentle, his voice rough and unpracticed and completely unguarded. Across 6,000 miles, Seo's tiny face twitched, relaxed, his fingers uncurled. Ella pressed her lips together hard. Junho, she managed. Yeah? That's not fair. No, he agreed softly. It's not. Have you ever had a moment that made you realize love never actually left? Tell us in the comments and subscribe. This story isn't over yet. It was Ryun who destroyed it. Junho had stepped away briefly, 2 minutes, just 2, to dismiss his lieutenant. When he returned to the screen, Ella's entire face had changed. Cold, closed, like a door slamming shut. Ella, I heard him. Her voice was flat. The steel replacing everything soft that had existed minutes ago. He said the Jeju shipment needs your sign-off. He said Chairman Wu is waiting for your call. She paused. He said, and this is the part that got me, Junho. He said, the woman can wait, the organization can't. Junho closed his eyes. That's Ryun talking, not me. But it's your world. Her voice cracked on the last word, the only fracture in her composure. It will always be your world. That's what I left. That's what I protected Seo from. And here I am at 5 in the morning thinking... She stopped herself. Thinking what? It doesn't matter. Ella, thinking what? That maybe you changed? The words burst out of her, raw and ragged. That maybe seeing him would make you want something different. But you can't change, Junho. The organization will always call and you will always answer. That's who you are. That's not... I watched it happen for 3 years. Tears finally broke through. She didn't wipe them. I'm not doing it again, and I refuse to let Seo grow up watching his father choose power over people. Ella, please. I have to go. Don't. Goodbye, Junho. The screen went black. Junho sat completely motionless in his penthouse. The city of Seoul glittered indifferently below him. For the first time in his life, all that power felt like a prison. Junho didn't sleep. He sat in his boardroom at dawn, 14 missed calls from Chairman Wu stacked on his phone. The Jeju shipment, the Busan deal, the Empire demanding its pound of flesh, same as always. He stared at the phone. Then he did something he had never done in 11 years of running the organization. He forwarded every call to Ryun. He walked to his wall safe. Behind the steel door, past the cash and the documents, was the one thing he'd kept without logic or reason. A cherry blossom petal pressed flat inside a small envelope. From that day 14 months ago, their last good day. He held it for a long time. Then he called his lawyer. Not about the divorce, about something else entirely. In Atlanta, Ella hadn't slept either. She sat with Sio in the rocking chair as morning light crept across the floor, her mind replaying the night in fragments. His laugh, the lullaby. The way he'd said Sio's name like it rearranged him. Then Ryun's voice cutting through it all. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it. It buzzed again. An email this time. From Junho's lawyer. She almost deleted it. Instead, almost against her will, she opened it. It wasn't a custody threat. It wasn't a legal demand. It was a single document. Junho's formal resignation from the organization's leadership, signed, witnessed, effective immediately. Attached was a handwritten note. 3 lines. I chose wrong every day for 3 years. I'm choosing differently now. I just need to know if it's too late. Ella read it 3 times. SEO grabbed her finger, held tight. She exhaled for what felt like the first time all night. He landed in Atlanta on a Tuesday. No bodyguards, no entourage. 1 bag, the kind of arrival that meant something. Ella opened the door before he could knock. She'd seen the cab from the window and spent 4 minutes arguing with herself about whether to answer. She answered. Junho looked different. Lighter somehow, like he'd set down something extraordinarily heavy. They stood in the doorway, saying nothing. Everything was in the silence, just the apology, the fear, the fragile and terrifying hope. You actually did it, she said finally. I did. The organization. Ryun can have it. His eyes were steady. I don't want to be that man anymore. I don't want Sio to know me as that man. Ella studied him for a long moment, reading him the way only someone who had loved him deeply and been broken by him could. This isn't a negotiation, she said carefully. If you're here, you're here. No half measures. No empire pulling you back at midnight. I know. SEO comes first, always, before pride, before power, before everything. I know, Ella. And you and I... She paused. That's separate. That's slower. You don't get to walk back in and pick up where we left off. I'm not asking for that. He reached slowly into his jacket pocket and held out a small envelope. Inside, she recognized it immediately. A pressed cherry blossom petal. I'm just asking to start. Her throat tightened. From inside the apartment, Sio made a sound, and that small, imperious demand that meant someone come get me immediately. Junho looked past her toward the sound, his entire face transformed. Can I? He whispered. Ella stepped aside. He walked in. Some people have to lose everything to finally choose what matters. Did Junho deserve this second chance? Comment your verdict below. And if this story moved you, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it today.